Hey Algebra 1, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 11, Lesson 1, and this is going to be our data analysis unit. We're going to be talking about measures of center and variation, which is basically mean, median, mode, and range. And we're only looking for 5 things to write down in our notes, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we want to look at is what is mean, median, mode, and range. The mean can be found just by adding the set of data and then dividing by the number of data values there are. This symbol that you see here, it looks like X with a little the bar notation over it, represents finding the mean. You can also read it as X bar. The median is just the number that's in the middle of the data when all of the numbers are written in numerical order. When you have even numbers, you just have to find the middle of those two numbers or the mean of those two numbers. And then the mode is the number that occurs the most often. There can be one mode, no mode, or more than one mode. So there's like 9 that appears 2 times, a 10 that appears 2 times, and an 11 that appears 2 times. All those could be modes. Let's take time now to just refresh our memory and pause the video here so you can write down what mean, median, and mode are. And once you're done, click play, and we're going to try an example. So the next example is talking about amusement parks hourly wages for students that were hired over the summer. This table that was given to us shows those different wages, and what we're going to do is take the time to find the mean, the median, and the mode, and then figure out which measure of center best represents the data. Because there are some key things here that might not best represent the data, so we're just going to make sure we pick the best one. Let's go ahead now and take time to pause the video so we can try these on our own, and once we're done, click play to check your work. So the very first thing I did to find the mean is I added all of the wages. So I added $16.50 all the way down to $9.25. After I added those, I got the sum of 77.2, and then because there are 8 different categories or 8 different hourly wages, I divided by 8 and I got 9.65. So my mean is going to be $9.65. The median is a little bit different because you do have to put those in order, and that's what this is going to look like. So here are all my values written in order in purple, and now I'm basically just going to take one off the front and one off the back. And I'm going to do this until I get down to 1 or 2 in the middle. And notice I'm down to $8.65, $8.75. You're basically just going to try to find the middle of these two numbers or the mean. You could do that just by estimating. I know right in the middle is $8.70, or you can add these together and then divide by 2. Either way, you're going to get $8.70 for your median. The last thing we want to do here is find the mode, and the mode is pretty simple because you're just finding the number that occurs the most, and that number is going to be 825 because it appears 2 times. So now that we have the mean, the median, and the mode, we can answer this last question here. Which measure of center best represents the data, and explain? For this one, we would probably choose the median. The reason why we would want to choose the median here is because the mean is too high. It's at $9.65. We're going to talk about that on the next page and why it's so high. And we can also say the mode would be the lowest value, so it's not actually going to represent the data set well. The next thing we're going to look at is still from the data in example 1, so I still just copied and pasted this data set, and it says identify the outlier. An outlier just would represent more than 1.5 times the amount of the mean of the data. How does this, or sorry, the average of the data, or the median of the data. How does this outlier affect the mean, median, and mode? And describe one possible explanation for that outlier. We're going to take time now to pause the video so you can try this one on your own, and then once you're done, click play to check your work. What you first needed to consider is the outlier, and that is 1650. That it just means it is much higher or much lower than the rest of the data. The reason why this outlier can affect the mean, median, mode is it's going to increase the mean and the median. It doesn't really affect the mode here, so we don't have to worry about that at that point. But what we are worrying about is how it is affecting the mean and the median. Without using 1650 in the data set, so if we essentially took this out, our mean would actually drop down to $8.67 and the median would go down to $8.65. And that would actually be a more accurate representation versus what we had originally. The median is a little bit off, but the mean compared to $9.65 went way down. The next thing we're going to talk about is called the range, and you've probably heard of the range before as well. And basically it's the distance between the highest value and the lowest value. And you can do that by just subtracting the lowest from the highest. So what we're going to do is take time to pause the video here so you can write down what the range is. And then once you're done, click play so you can see how to find the range and compare them. So the last question we're going to talk about is this a reality show cooking contest, and it has 12 contests each. We're going to talk about show A's range and show B's range. It says find the range of the ages for each show and then compare your results. So let's go ahead and take time now to pause right here and try to find the range of show A and then show B, and then once you're done, click play to see how they compare. Alright, so what I like to do is just find the maximum and subtract the minimum. So that's exactly what I did for both of these. For show A, the maximum is 31 and the minimum is 19. So when I subtract those, I'm going to get 12 as my age range. For show B, my maximum is a little bit different. It's 48 and my minimum is still 19. When I subtract these two, I get 29 as the range. So what I can say here to compare is show B's ages are actually more spread out than show A's. You can also maybe say that show B has more diversity, or it's more diverse with their ages than show A. Okay, that is going to conclude our notes today on lesson 11.1. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.